to go and thrash legs. Now, this little leg workout is so far powered by 1,400 calories. So it's 4 o'clock. That's about right. I've got 1,100 to play with now when I get back home. All I had to eat so far was, man, let me try to remember. I know. Oh, wait, actually, I lied. I don't think I tracked. Yeah, I got to add some more stuff. I've really eaten about 1,600 calories so far. The last thing I had is I had a pound of ground bison with 3 slices of American cheese just mixed in, plus some low sugar barbecue sauce. I had that. I had a couple of low carb tortillas with some cheese melted on too. Oh, and I remember when I went to Kroger and I got the a bunch of meats and whatever else. I also stopped at the sushi section. So I had like 20 grams of protein worth of not actual sushi. It was just like cut up bits of salmon on top of like some, sliced carrots and celery. Or no, cucumber with some soy sauce. That's pretty good. And I had 2 pork buns, which added up to 60 grams of carbs. And I forget the amount of protein and fat, but whatever. So about 900 calories to play with before I go to bed. That's about right. I would hate to hit like 4 o'clock and only have like, 300 calories left. If you have a lot, if you don't have a lot of macros or, calories left to eat in the day and it's getting close to bedtime, or no, it's not close to bedtime, then you're just asking to go way over your deficit and have a little bit of I don't even want to call it a relapse, but in a sense, it kind of is. You want to make your calories last throughout the day. Don't just slam them all at once. It's probably in your best interest to kind of spread them around. But one thing I was thinking about bringing up is, when was the last time you finished a workout or even just one set and you thought to yourself, holy shit, that was fucking badass? That was me last leg day with that set of squats. I've totally been slacking on the leg day intensity. I need to seriously start bringing it. And you should kind of have that thought process over time as you're lifting. Like, let's say I lift at whatever the intensity of this lift is for the next 6 months. After a little while, it just becomes normal. You get used to exerting yourself to that level, right? Your new normal is, or no, that, let's say what could be your peak, like most intense lift one day in terms of like your subjective effort level, that can become your new baseline. And that means if you want to have a crazy lift, you've got to go up from there. So you should constantly be kind of questioning yourself, maybe not all the time, but at least every couple of months. Honestly, I don't even have to question myself. I just end up sort of having a realization like, oh, geez, I'm not even fucking going that hard right now. So, try to raise the bar as much as possible in terms of, your intensity. Obviously, you want to improve your training style and methods and whatever rep schemes and exercise selections and stuff like that. Become a more well-rounded and experienced lifter. But, you can have all the freaking knowledge in the world, but if you don't push it on your sets, it's worth nothing, right? So, hamstring curls, RDLs, potentially, actually, yeah, I guess that's it. For hamstrings. And then quads is going to be, I can almost guarantee, well, actually, no, I can guarantee leg extensions. That's one thing I can say for sure. And then I'll have to see how I feel with squats, hack squats, potentially sissy squats on the Smith machine. With quads, sometimes they can be a little bit finicky for me because I can kind of tweak my adductors a touch, or sometimes my knees just feel a little funky, and like I just won't like the feeling of that hack squat, or no, the pendulum squat rather. But no matter what kind of movements you do, like let's say for you, leg extensions just destroy your knees. You get on the leg extension even with lightweight, your tendons or whatever, they're just on fire. Then fucking just spam leg press, man. I'm not really a leg press fan myself, but maybe actually now that I say that, I think I'm probably just limiting my leg development because I have that preference. Maybe I should go out of my way to do what I usually don't want to do and do some leg press. You're you're watching this workout formulate itself in real time in my mind right now. I'm trying to think of how I want to go about it. But first things first, I'm going to get hamstrings blown up. And then that's another thing that I'll mention one more thing before we start the actual lift. I don't mind a back and forth style where you go a couple sets of hamstrings, a couple sets of quads, and then back and forth a few times for the whole workout. But, going into something like heavy squats or leg press or whatever with a huge freaking hamstring pump, your knees are just going to feel better, man. I feel much more, there's no better word than just like stable doing a squat after I've got a hamstring pump. Variety of benefits to being pre-pumped. But whatever, let's just get hamstring started with whatever that first movement ends up being. After a substantial calf hamstring warm-up by doing, some calf raises and then some really just leg curls, getting heavier and heavier and heavier for, just reps of like 3 to 5. I'm ready to throw the whole stack around for a real working set. Three more of these for sure. Same weight. Oh, okay, I lied. 2 more. Slight change. Single leg instead of double leg for these 2. But other than that, still go around as much weight as possible for a good set. Okay. Let's do some standing single leg and the leg extension now. So, weight is definitely not the main priority with this movement. All I'm trying to do is squeeze the F out of my hamstrings. Okay. That was a good one. Whoopsie. No squats for me. Damn. I knew that fucking squat set on last leg day was going to get me. I can feel my adductor firing real hard, even with just 3 plates. So instead, let's just cut out all pressing movements. 8 sets of leg extensions. Let's hit this shit. Single leg first. Reasonable weight. Enough that I can control and really squeeze. Let's grab the belt and do some double leg. God damn it. Grab the wrong belt. Fuck. Oh, fuck. I need a little more weight, but I'm just gonna fucking sit here for the rest of the lift. Quads is definitely not going as I planned in terms of the structure of the lift. You know, because in my mind I was imagining heavy ass squats, heavy ass hacks, or no, heavy Smith, maybe, dude, what is wrong with it? Heavy pendulum squats, then maybe some heavy leg press. And I actually do need to do some PT on myself for the adductor. Like, it was never like a legitimate incident where I was like, oh crap, fuck. You get what I'm kind of saying? Like, there's never a moment of injury, but the left adductor is most certainly tweaked. I got to do something about it for sure. So I'm not even, actually, I did have the thought cross my mind where to myself, I said, okay, quads is a wash. No, come on, that's fucking bullshit. So I'm not going to do any double leg. I'll just sit here for 6 more sets of single leg with, pretty heavy weight. Try to go as crazy as possible. I'll just record the 1 set. They all look the same. You're not going to really miss anything. And we can cut to the quad pump. All right. So it's been a considerable amount of time. Quads feel pretty freaking pumped. Let's go see if they look it as well. So, primary example of what to do when your lift doesn't necessarily go perfectly to plan because of an unforeseen or potentially foreseen but undesired situation. Classic move, some kind of injury or tweak. And just fucking deal with it, dude. Work around it as long as you're not re-injuring it. And if you can't work around it, then just fucking let it chill. Like, let's say that for me, the adductor made leg extensions like really hurt. Like I was really flaring it up. And guess what? I just wouldn't have done leg extensions. I would have had to call the workout. But the only thing that leg extensions was messing with me on was squats and pressing. So I could still get some solid work done on the leg extension. Which, oof. Okay, that's pretty fucking sick. Solid amount of veins and separation. Oh. Whew. Okay, yeah, that is sick. I still have a pretty decent hamstring pump. Oh, you can actually see it kind of creeping up the back. You know, the leaner I get too, the more cool separation the hamstrings are gonna have. Whew. Oh. Yeah, see, you can start to see a little bit of cool shit going down here, right in the back of my knee. Oh, another couple of weeks, maybe we'll get some craziness. And even some fucking side of the leg veins. I don't think I've seen these before. Let me try to do a little bit of a breath hold to poke them out. Okay. Oh, so as we get leaner and leaner, more veins are just going to keep poking out of nowhere, right? And that is pretty much the goal. Oh, I'd say in the morning, if I do a little pumpless check-in, I should be able to see some striations in the quads, some quad feathering. So let's get in the car. Legs complete, even with a less than ideal. Well, that's maybe not the right way of phrasing it. Let's just say, even though quads didn't go as planned, the pump was still good. Nice and veiny as well. So definitely going to get on some stretching, probably some localized massaging of the area down there. Right in kind of the tie-in of my adductor and my hamstring. Right in there, something. I'll look it up. Typically, anytime you get some kind of tweak anywhere, be it like your forearm or your hamstring or, some part of your knee or your ankle, there's so much freaking information out there. You don't just have to deal with it and, take no action, right? If I ever like mess up my forearm and get a little bit of like what I assume to be some kind of tendonitis, like flaring up or like a pinched nerve, whatever, I was like, man, this sucks. Oh, it's fucking kind of bothering me when I bench. What the hell's going on here? Right? You look it up, see someone else who had a similar problem, and then the guy's like, yeah, man, all I did was just fucking grind the shit out of it with a lacrosse ball or like a little like wooden dowel. It seemed to work, right? So, same thing can apply to really whatever, but obviously right now the situation of a little bit of a tweak comes to mind. And I guess I was kind of asking for it with the heavy ass squats last leg day. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't try to push through it though, because I could tell on the warm up sets that I was starting to feel the adductor flare up a tad. The last thing that I want to do is I literally had this thought and then I reverted back to reality. Like as I'm working my way up, I do one plate for a couple reps. Okay, that feels okay. Two plates for a few. All right, I can kind of feel my adductor starting to pull a little. Three, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. And for a second, I was like, okay, come on, let's fucking, whatever, let's just fucking hit it. Like push through it. And then I had the presence of mind as an enlightened lifter to take a step back and realize, all right, I'm asking for trouble right now. I'm asking for freaking trouble. You know, the last thing you want to be doing in your lift is asking for trouble, right? There's enough inherent risk of potential injury just in general. Now, me saying that isn't necessarily reflective of my training style, but you do as I say, not as I do. You know, push yourself. Push yourself as hard as possible. But if you're about to do some bench and you can tell your shoulders a touch tweaked, or you can tell that like something feels just a little off, you are probably not going to regret saying, okay, no, let's back off. We'll just go a little lighter. We'll do something else. No, that's good. You know, and I would hope that that's something that that's a skill that you don't have to develop through too much trial and error, but I guess it probably is, you know, but I'd rather have the issue of going too hard than not going hard enough. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's sort of a line of, I feel like I said this exact speech before. There's a line of, you know, weight and I guess really weight, honestly, where you can get effective gains from it by throwing it around or doing legit reps, whatever. But to go beyond that and to push yourself beyond your, what you're capable of without injury, right? That's where you want to, that's the realm which you don't want to delve into. You want to approach it, right? If I'm feeling pretty strong on chest, you know, I want to do upwards of like 4 plates for reps on incline bench or incline Smith. But just because I feel kind of strong doesn't mean I'm going to try to go in excess weight, which I think that's one aspect of my sort of training style, which does help me not get too hurt is, you know, even though I do try to throw around what is relatively crazy weight, but what is really just, you know, as much weight as I can handle for a movement, is I never want to do less than 8 reps in a set. I'd say for the fresh, strong sets of, let's say, you know, heavy dumbbell curls or bench or squats or rows, pull downs, right? For the sets where I'm really pushing it and I'm really trying to move as much weight as possible, I'm never going to do an amount of weight where I get 7. And if I do, that means I overestimated my strength. You know, I want to aim in that 8 to 12 range for the most part for those heavy sets. And then, you know, once I get 3 or 4 of those done, I'm really just trying to burn out whatever muscle I'm targeting. So let's just imagine a hypothetical chest workout. Or I guess this might be the chest workout I do tomorrow. I guess I'll have to see how I feel. But it could be 2 sets of incline dumbbell bench, real heavy, 15 reps max or less. Then maybe I do 2 sets of Smith machine bench. Same thing, as heavy as I can go with, you know, well, as heavy as I can go for, you know, maybe 12 reps ish. I'm not going to go so heavy that I can only get like 5 or 4. That's just not really conducive with gains, in my opinion. So after those 4 sets of heavy pressing, I wouldn't mind 4 sets of, you know, cable flies or pec deck, relatively light, just to really finish off the pump. So enough talk about training. Let's think about what I get to eat when I get home. I think I'm gonna make a steak of some kind. I think I'm going to make a steak. Yeah, that'll be pretty freaking good. Probably 80 grams of protein worth, maybe 20 grams of fat. Should fit in the macros nicely. I'm going to try my best. Well, actually, I'm not going to try my best. I'm going to make sure I hit that 2,500 calorie limit and not exceed it for these next 3 weeks, just so I can actually put the finishing touches on the cut. I'm going to stop adding the weight into the title because unless you like watch the whole video and you kind of hear me talk about like an explanation of, you know, an extra or of it like going up a pound and down a pound just from, differences in hydration. Or like, honestly, let's say I do a really crazy leg day. I could see being like a pound heavier the next day purely due to like inflammation because I know that my legs are like extra sore. So I'll bring it up in the video. Like I'll say some shit about the weight, but I think putting it in the title is a little bit confusing just because there is kind of a back and forth. You shouldn't really be focusing on your day to day weight anyway. What really matters is week to week, because one day, let's say I don't drink a ton of water and I wake up at like 2:32 the next day, right? Kind of dehydrated. And then that day that I woke up at 2:32 before bed, let's say I drink like a liter of water with an electrolyte packet and I was already pretty hydrated throughout the day. I could wake up at 2:36, just because I got more fluids flowing around the system. So that's a little bit, I understand why there's a little bit of confusion there. But even then, my goal right now isn't even about the weight. All I'm trying to do is, well, the primary goal is to just resensitize my appetite so I can bulk hard once I start the bulk. But then, what's going to come along with that is just getting leaner. So that's pretty much what's going to decide whether or not this cut was successful or not. Right? I can definitely tell that I'm fucking hungrier, so my appetite's probably approaching the peak. I don't feel like I'm sick of food anymore. I definitely want to be eating more. And then in terms of the leanness, definitely leaner than the last bulk or the end of the bulk. So I'll be able to have a little bit more leeway to add extra body fat without getting too fat on the bulk itself. So, man, that's freaking all I got. Let's just get back to the house, and then I'm going to do my cardio in the morning as usual, which I know you aren't doing, but I don't think we need to discuss it any further. And then chest tomorrow. Should be a pretty solid ass lift, as they always are. So I'll freaking see you next time.